Welcome to Harvesting Clouds, where we take a practical approach to learning and leveraging clouds.
In this video, we will be designing various networks and will be performing networking related calculations. Before you watch this particular video, I highly recommend that you watch previous video where we saw how IP addresses work and all the related concepts to build the right foundation for this particular video and all the subsequent networking related videos. You can do so by clicking on the link in the top right corner or in the description below. In this video, we will be looking at various design examples. But before we do that, we will be taking into considerations what are the different factors that you should always think about when designing a new network. We'll also be taking a look at a small utility online which will be helping us perform all the networking related calculations. So let's jump into the considerations. These are some of the things that you should always think about when building new networks. The first one being the purpose of the virtual network or a physical network. Why are you building that network? If you, for example, are building a virtual network in Microsoft Azure or a virtual private cloud in AWS, why are you building that network? Is it for a specific environment? For example, for development environment, for test or production? What kind of application is going to go into that particular virtual network? Is it a multi-tier application or a single tier application? Or is the virtual network there only to provide connectivity from on-premises into the cloud? So you should have clearly defined purpose. Why are you building that network? Next one is the sizing. How many hosts can exist within that particular virtual network? This will determine the subnet mask of your virtual network. Another one is which class you want for your virtual network. Is it going to be class A, class B, or class C? This will determine your exact IP address that you will choose. If you have lot many networks that you want to create but very few hosts in each of those networks, you should use class C, something like 192.168 and so on. But if you want lot many number of hosts but very few number of networks, then you should stick with class A. Segregation. Within the network, how are you going to segregate different applications? For example, if you have multi-tiered application, you should be creating a different subnet for each tier of that application. This will help you identify what are the different subnets that will be existing within your network. Another one is security restrictions. For example, if you have a 3-tier application which has a front tier which talks to its business tier, and then business tier talks to its database tier, and you want to have a security restriction in place that the front end should not be able to talk to your backend, your database directly, then that will become your security restriction. While designing the network, you will split it into multiple subnets and will create firewall or some other ways to put that restriction in place. You should also be taking into factor what are the connectivity requirements. How are you going to connect to that particular network? Is there a specific router that connects directly to that network? If it's a virtual network, are you going to be connected to that through express route or through pairing or any other mechanism? Once you have all these considerations defined, you will have very well defined requirement in place, and then you can start building on top of that requirement and start building your networks, be it physical or virtual. Now we'll jump and look at the tool that I talked about, the subnet calculator online. This is the subnet calculator I was talking about before. This is a very simple online utility that we will be using to perform all the networking related calculations. I will be providing this link in the description below. You can use any other calculator. You don't have to stick with this one. So what is this subnet calculator telling us? The very first thing that you need to note is which class is selected. Depending upon your requirement, you will select one of these 3 classes. If I switch to, for example, class C, it will change the subsequent values in all the different subsequent text boxes and drop downs based on the selection of the class. Specifically this particular IP address, this text box, it identifies which is the very first IP address for that particular network or subnet. So it also switches the masks. As we discussed in the previous video, for class C, the minimum number of subnet mask bits that can be there is 24. For class B, it is 16. And it will show that over here by changing the dropdown for mask bits appropriately. Also, the IP address, you can see the first octet, it belongs to class B, as we talked in the last video. For class A, it selects 10.0.0.1. You can even specify 10.0.0.0. And then for the mask, the minimum possible value is 8. We can switch it to something else, for example 16. All the other values will dynamically change as per our selection. Another interesting thing with this particular utility is hosts per subnet. If you have clear requirement based on how many number of hosts you require in a particular network, you can use this particular drop-down to define your mask bits. Instead of focusing on the mask bit and doing the calculation the other way, you can use hosts per subnet drop-down. For example, if let's say I only need 1000 hosts in my network, then I can select the closest value, which is 1022. And then it will automatically populate. It will tell me that the mask bits required for this particular subnet or a virtual network is 22. It will give me the host address range over here. And then the subnet ID is the very first IP address. The broadcast address is the very last IP address in this particular, for this particular IP address and this particular mask bits. These are the only values that you should be focusing on. You can take a look at other values. They are informational, but from the practical standpoint, when you will be working with virtual networks in Microsoft Azure or with virtual private clouds in AWS, these are the primary things that will be helpful to you. Identifying your IP address, then defining your mask bits, then taking a look at how the host address range will look like. One general tip is, if I get a requirement from a customer that they want to host 1000 hosts in their network, then what I tend to do is I factor in that in future their requirements can change. So they should be ready for the change in future. They should not need to go back and design the network once again. So I always try to double or 4 times the number of hosts that I need to build in the virtual network. So instead of 1000, I'll go with something like 2000 or even 4000. Right now, it's a matter of writing 20 instead of 22. But later on, if you already have computers in a virtual network in different subnets, then expanding them, it becomes a real problem. So always factor in more hosts than you want to create right now. So let's go back to the presentation and let's look at a couple of examples, and then we will be switching back between the presentation and this calculator, and we'll be looking at some practical examples. To begin, let's start with a very simple example. Let's say that you are being asked to create a network with X number of hosts that can exist within that particular network. For example, you are asked to create a network with 600 hosts that needs to be hosted in the cloud. So you need to create a virtual network for this particular requirement. Later on, we will be building on top of this particular example. So as we discussed, we'll jump into the subnet calculator. The number of hosts that is required is 600. We'll click on this drop down for hosts per subnet. We'll see the closest value that is more than the requirement, which is 1022. That gives us mask bit of 22. So what I will do is, if I am building class A, that means I will be having the first IP address as 10.0.0.0 and then the mask bit as 22. What that will look like in CRDR notation, it will simply be 10.0.0.0/22. Now this will be the address space for my virtual network. Simple requirement, simple solution. Proceeding ahead, let's say now this particular network with X number of hosts, which we have already identified, will look something like 10.0.0.0/22. That means it will have 1024 IP addresses. Out of this, the usable IP addresses will be a little bit less. Basically, the very first IP address and the last address will never be usable. In addition to that, Azure has some own reservations for the IP address for each of the subnet within this network. Now in this second example, for this particular requirement, you have an additional requirement. The requirement says that it will consist of two subnets. One for very small shared resources, like a domain controller or a DNS server, and then another subnet for all the remaining resources. So this is the address space for the whole virtual network. Now within this particular virtual network, we need to create two smaller subnets, and we need to remain within this particular virtual network range. Let's switch back to our subnet calculator. One very simple but very powerful concept that I want you to understand is that a virtual network always grows or shrinks in the multiples of 2. That's because internally it's all binary. So when you increase the mask bit from 22 to 23, the number of hosts, they will exactly be halved. If you consider the subnet ID and broadcast IP address, which are reserved internally, if you add those two hosts per subnet and make this exact multiple, that is 1024, if you change this to 23, it will become 512 minus these two IP addresses, and so on and so forth. From 23, if I increase the mask bit to 24, the number of hosts will decrease to 256 minus 2 reserved IP addresses. So to begin with, if we have 22 mask bit, a virtual network with 22 mask bit, that is 1024 IP addresses in that particular virtual network, the biggest I can carve out from that particular virtual network address space is the next available mask bit, that is 23, that is 512 IP addresses. So this subnet will start from 10.0.0.0 and will go up to 10.0.1.255. There will be reservations for the IP addresses. We are not considering that, but it will go from 0.0 to 1.255. And we can document that in the presentation. So if I switch back to the presentation, switch my pointer to pen, the maximum that I can carve out here is, out of this particular virtual network, the first one can be 10.0.0.0/23, which will range from 10.0.0.0 all the way up to 10.0.1.255. The next number will not be 255, instead it will be 2.0, since 255 is the max number available. So the other subnet can be, if I split it into two equal halves, 10.0.2.0/23, and this will range from 10.0.2.0 all the way up to 10.0.3.255. To confirm this, I can switch back to the calculator, and over here I can change the number to 2.0. It will give me that particular range, that is 10.0.2.0 to 10.0.3.255. So these are the two maximum subnets that can be created. So these are the two subnets that we talked about. Now one of this subnet is correct for the second one, but the first subnet needs to be very smaller one. So let's say this is our subnet 2. So this is finalized. But for subnet 1, we do not need this much. We do not need 512 IP addresses in that particular subnet. Instead, we can make it even smaller. So let's say there are going to be up to 10 hosts. I'll switch this back to the starting point, that is 0.0. There are going to be at max 10 hosts. I'll always caution on the max side, I'll make it up to 30 or even 62 to accommodate for redundancy or any future requirements. So this becomes my first subnet, that is with /26 as a subnet mask. And it will range from 0.0 to 0.63 as the maximum number for the last bit or for the last octet. So to document this, what we did here is we split this particular subnet even further to 10.0.0/26. This becomes our subnet number 1, which is a smaller subnet with smaller number of IP addresses available. And the starting IP address for this becomes 10.0.0.0 all the way up to 10.0.0.63, as we saw in here. Now this is example number 2. If we take it one step further, if let's say your network consists of X number of hosts, again the number of hosts will be similar to the previous one. So we'll take the same example, that is 10.0.0.0/22. 10.0.0.0/22, which is 1024 IP addresses. Now this one consisted of 2 subnets. This one consists of 3 subnets. One for your database, another for business logic, another for front end. And these 3 subnets can be equal in size. So let's say you have a 3-tier application wherein in the front end you are hosting your web pages. In the business logic, all your business logic is there. And then that business logic is connecting to your database. Your front end talks to your business logic and your business logic talks to your database. We'll call this as subnet 1, subnet 2, and this one as subnet 3. So as we discussed earlier, a network address space can only be split into the multiples of 2. We cannot split it into 3 equal parts. We have to split it into 4 equal parts. So what we'll do is we'll start with /22. Now /22 is one big range. That is the whole range of our virtual network. If we have to split it by factor of 2, that will be 23, which is equal components of 512 IP addresses. If I have to split it into 4 equal parts, I'll go one step further to /24. So the first IP address range will be 10.0.0.0/24, and it will range from 10.0.0.0 to 10.0.0.255. I'll document that. So the subnet 1 for my database will be something like 10.0.0.0/24. And it will consist of 254 IP addresses, or rather 256, considering the first one as 0 all the way up to 10.0.0.255. This is for my database. Now, if this is 255, this is the last IP address, what will be this IP address plus 1? That will become the next IP address. That IP address will be 10.0.1.0. Because there is no 256 at the end, the value of octet, as we saw earlier, ranges from 0 to 255. So plus 1 would be 10.0.1.0. And the IP address range will become 10.0.1.0/24 for that one. It will also have 256 IP addresses. The last IP address, we do not need to calculate it, although we can see that it will be 1.0 to 1.255. But if you do not want to calculate this, you can simply go back and update this starting IP address number. And as you can see, it immediately told me that For 24 mask bit for this particular IP address, the IP addresses will be 10.0.1.0 up to 10.0.1.255 as the last IP address. So the last IP address will be 10.0.1.255. Similarly, we can find out the last subnet. So this is for the business logic, and the last one for the front end, it will be one more than this one. So that will become 10.0.2.0/24, again having 256 IP addresses. The IP addresses will range from the starting point as 10.0.2.0 all the way up to 10.0.2.255. And we can see that here, when we update the very first IP address in this first text box and hit tab, it will automatically update to show me the new dynamic IP address range. Again, note that I have been including the subnet ID as the first IP address and the broadcast address as the last IP address. I have not been writing .1 to 254. Instead, I have been documenting everything as .0 to 255. And that concludes this last particular example. There will be another subnet that can be created, which will range from 10.0.3.0. I'll write it over here for your reference, /24. And this will be the last subnet that will be available in the whole network's address space. So once again, this thing is called the address space for the whole network, whereas these are the address spaces in CIDR notation for each and every subnet. And this is exactly what you need when we will be creating actual virtual networks along with their subnets in Microsoft Azure or virtual private clouds in AWS. Any future network designs that you will encounter will be a combination of the concepts that we discussed in the 3 examples that we saw. I know this has been like drinking through a fire hose. I highly recommend that you revisit these concepts and rewatch these videos. If you still have any doubts, let me know in the comments below and I can address them. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you have suggestions for new content, let me know in the comments below. Hit subscribe and the bell icon to get notified of the latest content as it is published on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.